Hi everyone, I'm Allie, co-founder of PotomacBeads, and in today's Better Beader episode, we are going to talk cabochons. Cabochons. We're going to talk about these flat back stones and basically what the definition is, what it can include, how to use them, and a number of different ideas. And start looking because cabochons are everywhere. So when you're talking cabochons, it's kind of where did the word come from? It's a French name, cabochon, which is going to mean a knob or a small dome. Not to be confused with dome beads. Cabochons, generally speaking, do not have holes. When you're looking at a cabochon and looking at the different definition of what they are, there's a number of different things that cabochons are. Traditionally speaking, they were a polished cut stone that didn't have a lot of facets and was flat on one side or convex or domed on the other side. This is allowing it to be easily embroidered against, added to fabrics, added to the fashion industry, added to clasps for an extra little stone setting, and it's everywhere. So if you look on shoes, purses, bags, you're going to start seeing these flat back stones everywhere. Saying stones is a little bit antiquated and a little bit incorrect because not only can it be actual stones, but there's a ton of other options when it comes to things that are called cabochons. The cabochons, or cab as it may be referred to, is going to be something that is flat on one side and domed on the other side. Here I have a ceramic one here that is teardrop in shape. Traditionally they were oval in shape, like this nice cameo. That would have been a great example of one back in kind of a vintage time of that idea of that flat cab. Some of them were more domed, some will be kind of set in, etched, some of them will even be faceted. It's really the fact that the one side is flat and the other side has that doming to it. Whether or not that doming is really, really extended and almost like a half circle, or whether or not it's a little bit more cut and doesn't go up as high, doesn't affect the fact of it being called a cabochon. Also, it has nothing to do with if it's square, if it's teardropped, if it's big, if it's small, if it is even a resin one that's shaped like a soccer ball. Those are still all going to be considered cabochons. The cabochons, again, are known for their flat side, which in this example, like this nice oval one, gives you the option, like this one here, to actually attach it to a setting, to glue in, and to decorate the back of it. So this was actually one of our customers that she let us take a look at and kind of see all those fun designs that were in it fun. So there's a number of different options what to do with the cabochons, how to attach them. When I am working with attaching cabochons from one thing to another, say I have a setting that is a cufflink or a hairpin or even a fun little key setting, a pin backing, earrings, anything that you can think of. I like to use either E6000 glue or Loctite glue. When using the glue, you're just going to open up a little bit, put a little dab onto the surface, and then press the glue down to dry. There are so many different cab settings, whether or not oval, round, square, rings, hair things, anything that you can think of. Key fobs, I think this would be a cool key fob. You can think of those ideas for simply just gluing the cabochon right onto them. If you want to make a little bit more intense design, you can bezel or seed bead around a cabochon to hold it in place. This one here has a metal backing, a nice filigree backing, and then I've gone through and actually sewed through the filigree to attach and have some seed beads holding that porcelain cabochon in place. Here we actually did bead embroidery, which often will start off like this on stiff stuff, gluing the cabochon down first to this stiff stuff or this stiff backing, and then seed beading around, and often bringing a peyote bezel to the top to hold the cabochon in even more. So those are two kind of options for what to do when it comes to the cabochon. You can either bezel around the whole thing, or even have an open bezel, such as this one here, where you can still see the cabochon backing, and it's just held in place with different beads and different settings along it. Like I said, when it comes to the cabochons, you will start to see cabochons everywhere. So the cabochons, again, they can be fun, funky, you can have eyes, you can have them faceted. I did also want to show kind of some other settings, which this is a dome bead here, and the dome beads actually have a hole in them but they work really well as cabochons. You don't need to use the hole, or you can use the hole in bead embroidery, and it's going to still have that nice flat side and domed up. The same with a two-holed cabochon. So traditionally cabs do not have holes, but these different bead manufacturers are using those names to indicate the fact that one side is flat and one side is domed. These two-holed cabochons have two holes and are still flat on one side and domed on the other side. You can also use in a lot of places the disc duo bead in place too. So there's so many different uses for these cabochons beads. The cabochon beads are amazing. We have an endless supply. You can even look at some of the flat backs, would be another definition that you might see, and we have some here in the flat back ovals that you can actually add to the oval duos and glue them in place. So there's so many different options, but really what to use them for, what to do with them, and what defines that cabochon is that flat back and that dome to it, or that basically convex top. Whether or not the size is 10 millimeter or 35 or 40 millimeter does not matter when it comes to the definition of that cabochon. Sometimes you will see it used more loosely, and that it can include things like buttons and the dome beads and those two-holed cabochons. Other times it will strictly be two gemstones that you have just those faceted or unfaceted cut polished stones along the top. Look at your jewelry, look at your fashion items, look at shoes, look at purses, look at bags. You will see that endless supply of cabochons. They are so fun to play with. They add so much to the design. And if you need any, we have them at PotomacBeads.com and EU. The links for the cabochons are right below me, as well as some of the settings that I showed here in this video. Remember, if you want to, you can comment below. Say your best and favorite way to use cabochons, give ideas, and really enhance the cabochon making in this beading community, as well as give a little thumbs up and subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you haven't already checked out the rest of my Better Beader episodes, please do so from the start to the end, and you can get those all on our YouTube channel. Subscribe, and then you'll get regular updates from us here at Potomac Beads. As always, thanks so much for watching, and enjoy working with your cabochons.